Hello friends, I am glad to see you again. Today I will talk about the HOA, which does not understand that I specifically bought a house outside the HOA. The second week after I moved in, a woman with a clipboard tried to stick her foot in my doorway while I was balancing a box of coffee mugs and a bag of dog food. She had that brittle smile people hold when they've practiced it in a mirror too many times. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she sang, trying to peer past my shoulder like there was a prize to be won if she could identify the color of my couch. I was sweaty, tired, and carrying a 20-pound sack that said lamb and rice on it. "Thanks," I said, and nudged the door closed with a knee. She kept her foot there, the rubber tip of her flat squeaking against the threshold. "I'm Lessa. I'm president of our Property Owners Association. We need to get you signed up right away so we can issue your gate decal and trash bin." I stared at the open public street behind her. There was no gate. Our block was a straight shot from the main road to a cul-de-sac that dead-ended near a stormwater retention pond. City trash trucks came every Monday. On my inspection day, I had watched one rumble through and swallow 3 bins, no decals required. "Appreciate the enthusiasm," I said. "But I bought this place specifically because it's not under a homeowners association." I checked the covenants before closing and confirmed with the county recorder. "There's no recorded declaration encumbering my lot." Title insurance company confirmed too. That smile cracked a millimeter. "We're a POA," she corrected, as if the word choice opened a trap door under my feet. "And all properties on this street are bound by the community standards. It's a voluntary membership with mandatory participation. I have the bylaws right here." She shook the clipboard so I could admire the plastic sleeve full of single-spaced pages. "Voluntary with mandatory participation," I repeated. "That's a sentence." Her eyes hardened. "Everyone is required to comply." "You said voluntary." "It's voluntary to join, but once you live here, you're part of the community, so compliance is mandatory. These standards run with the land." A crow called from the hackberry tree across the street as if to punctuate the moment. I set the dog food down. "What's your recorded declaration number?" She blinked. "I don't know what you mean." "The instrument number recorded at the county registry that encumbers my lot and says your association has authority over me. You can't run with the land unless you're on the land records. Otherwise, you're a club." Color pooled under her makeup. "Well, I don't have that number on me, but feel free to drop it in my mailbox when you find it." I picked up the dog food and gently pressed the door against her rubber toe until she had to move it or get a pedicure the hard way. The door clicked shut. My dog, a retired racing greyhound named Raisin, gave me the long, judgmental look greyhounds give when people ruin the vibe. "Welcome home," I told her and poured food into her bowl. The thing about buying a house that's not under an association is people will try to invent one for you if they think your lawn is an inch too long. I'm not a revolutionary. I prefer neat grass and quiet mornings and a mailbox that gets bills and pizza menus. The listing had boasted mature trees, a backyard big enough for cornhole, and "no HOA" in bold, like it was announcing free ice cream. It matters here. This state lets associations record covenants with majority votes in some circumstances, but they still need procedure and actual recorded documents. My deed came back clean. That wasn't an accident. I had made my agent confirm 3 times. By day 3, I had a welcome packet taped to my door like a parking ticket. The cover letter began, "Congratulations," in a font that looked like it had been traced from a balloon. Inside were 10 pages of rules with no letterhead and a Venmo QR code for dues. Dues were voluntary but also past due if not received by the 5th of the month. Trash cans must be hidden from view. Mailboxes must be one of 2 approved styles. Lawns must be cut every 7 days, regardless of rain. Christmas lights must be white only. No flags except the American flag and seasonal flags, subject to approval. Fines for violations. Up to $150 per day. It read like someone took their personal pet peeves and staged a coup. I put the packet back in a new plastic sleeve and slid it beneath my toaster to flatten the curl. Then I wrote a polite email to the address listed at the bottom, accounting@ourcommunitypride.org, attaching the packet and asking for the recorded declaration number they were relying on for enforcement. I CC'd myself 3 ways, redundant and paranoid. The email bounced. Mailbox not found. I printed a letter the old-fashioned way, certified mail, return receipt requested, addressed to the P.O. box listed on the last page. I kept the tone friendly. I respect neighborhood standards. However, I did not take title subject to any recorded declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Please provide the recordation number showing your authority to enforce or collect dues from my parcel, Lot 17, Block C, as reflected on the recorded plat. If none exists, consider this notice that I will not join your voluntary organization. I copied my title insurer and my agent. The green return receipt card came back signed by someone named Trin, in a handwriting that looked like a roller coaster. Things stayed quiet for a week. I met a few real neighbors, a retired school librarian named Alma who invited me to a book exchange on her front porch, a landscaper named Diego who added my lawn to his schedule without trying to sell me a monthly compliance inspection, a nurse named Cam who worked nights and slept during the day. Everyone seemed normal. They waved when they walked dogs. They brought over a lemon loaf and asked if I needed their ladder. A kid on a BMX bike told me which storm drains swallowed tennis balls and which ones spit them back up. It felt like the neighborhood I grew up in, where rules were mostly common sense and people kept their own business. Then a trifold brochure appeared in my mailbox with a note scrawled on top, "Final Notice." The brochure had stock photos of happy families under a banner that read, "Our Community Pride." Inside were 2 paragraphs about beautification, a quote about property values, and a list of mandatory volunteer days. At the bottom, someone had written, "You have not paid dues. This is unfair to your neighbors. Fines begin Friday." I didn't write back. I picked up a pack of AA batteries and a couple 6-packs of little stick-on door contacts for a discount camera system I'd already planned to install. I also went to the county website and printed the parcel page that showed my deed, the legal description, and, critically, the lack of any recorded HOA or POA documents linking to my lot. I printed the statute that says any homeowners association must be formed and recorded to be enforceable against property. I put the printouts in a blue folder with the packet and the green card. I keep folders when things might get weird. It's a habit that has saved me more than once. The first fine came taped to my garage door with painter's tape. I found it after I took Raisin for a walk and stooped to scoop what she left near the hydrangeas. The slip was a violation worksheet, where someone had circled "trash receptacle visible from street" in red pen. The fine was $150. In the comments, "We prefer to resolve things informally but will escalate if necessary. Please be a good neighbor." I had my city-provided bin parked at the left side of my house by the side gate. It sat behind a hose reel and a shrub. To see it, you would need to stand on the curb, lean 2 feet into the grass, and peer between the leaves like a raccoon casing the joint. I took a photo from the sidewalk, then a photo from the exact height of my eyes, then a picture from their likely vantage point, standing on my lawn. I printed them and tucked them in the blue folder. My goal wasn't to argue aesthetics, it was to keep a record of where the line was. The next morning, there was a cement-colored SUV idling in front of my house at 6:30 a.m. A woman in a neon vest leaned out and snapped a picture of my driveway. She saw me, then pretended she was photographing the sky. When she pulled away, my mailbox grinned a little more crookedly. The hinge had a fresh twist to it. I decided to move the mailbox back 6 inches onto my property. The previous owner had it right on the line, and I like clear boundaries, especially when neighbors think they're allowed to patrol. That afternoon, I met Lessa again, but she had backup. A man with a name tag that read "Compliance," and a woman in a teal polo who carried a binder like a lawyer carries a briefcase stood behind her on the sidewalk. They didn't step on my lawn, they didn't smile. "You received a fine," Lessa said. "I received a letter that uses the word fine." "Yes," I said. "You need to pay it and the quarterly dues," said Teal Polo. "Every other neighbor is doing their part." "I checked the records," I said, holding up the blue folder. "There's no recorded declaration binding this property to your organization." "Did you find the document number I asked for?" Compliance guy cleared his throat. "We're revising our documents this year. The previous board made some mistakes, but the community has had rules for 20 years. You can ask anyone." "Community norms, sure," I said. "Enforceable covenants, no. You're welcome to tell me that you prefer my trash bin be invisible. I'm welcome to prefer coffee over tea. Neither is enforceable. And I don't owe dues to a club I didn't join." "We're not a club," Lessa said tightly. "You call yourselves an association. That's a club unless your covenants are recorded. You can't just decide to govern other people's property," Teal Polo sighed. "We'll let the legal team handle this. When they email me, please have them include the recordation number." "Thanks." I smiled and went inside, fighting the unhelpful urge to slam the door. 2 evenings later, while I was unpacking the last box in the kitchen, mixing bowls, the ones you swear you don't need until you're halfway through pancake batter. A slow clap drifted from my driveway. I stepped outside to find an older man in a knit cap leaning against a sedan, clapping lazily. He had a face like someone had carved suspicious into wood and then sanded it almost smooth. "Heard you're the new holdout," he said, as if we'd been mid-conversation. "Evening," I said. "I'm Oren. I run the architectural committee. You're already making waves." "Or at least ripples," I said. He tipped his head. "You might not know this, but we tried to bring this block under the association 10 years ago. The old-timers were stubborn. Some of them passed away. There's a new energy now." "Energy's great," I said. "Recording a declaration is better." His eyes slid to my porch light. "You should know this place has a history. Previous owner put in a pergola without approval. We made him tear it down. Previous owner told me he had to replace the pergola because he used untreated wood. He also told me he never paid association dues." I waved toward the retention pond. "I like this street. I like my house. I don't like intimidation." He straightened. "Nobody's intimidating you. We're just enforcing standards. If you're not with us, you're against us." "I'm not against anybody. I just don't have a contract with you." "Everything's a contract," he said, like he'd pulled it from a book with a lion and a sword on the cover. "You live here. That's a contract." "It isn't," I said, and my dog head-butted the screen like a punctuation mark. "Please don't come onto my driveway after this conversation. Feel free to email." I closed the door gently and deadbolted it. Through the peephole, I watched him stare at the door for 6 heartbeats before he walked back to his car. I wish I could jump to the part where this becomes a courtroom story and skip the bit in the middle where a half-dozen small stupid things happened. But the small stupid things are what build the canon. Alma, the retired librarian, got a violation for having a little free library box out front. The letter said it cluttered the streetscape. The library had been there for 3 years and had hosted a children's book swap, 3 tiny painted rocks, and a polite notice asking borrowers not to put cooking spray recipes in the mystery section. Alma cried on her porch swing and apologized for making trouble. The association tacked on a daily fine when she didn't take it down. People started whispering during dog walks and under porch lights. It wasn't just me on a spreadsheet. They were flexing on anyone they thought wouldn't push back. Cam, the night shift nurse, got a violation for leaving their porch light off during the day. Lights must be turned on from dusk to dawn, as if the sun is an optional ambiance. Diego got a letter about commercial vehicles when he parked his work truck in his own driveway on a Saturday. It had a ladder rack and a magnet that said his name. "They never bothered me last year," he said, frowning at the notice. "New board's different." It became clear why some neighbors complied. People are busy, they don't want fights, and a $75 quarterly fee feels cheaper than a headache. But it also became clear some people complied because they thought they could make other people do what they wanted. And those people had recently gotten elected to a board. The morning after Alma's second fine, an envelope was in my mailbox with my name whited out and typed over, as if it had been addressed to someone else first. Inside was a demand for immediate payment, $515, tallying the original trash can fine, a late fee, and 2 administrative fees for non-compliance with our request to pay dues. It concluded, "Final notice. Lien will be recorded on your property." I took a slow breath and set the letter flat on my breakfast table like it was evidence at an exhibit. My phone buzzed. It was a text from a number I didn't recognize with a cropped photo of my front door. "Pay your fair share." I looked up and saw nobody. Just a quiet street, wind chimes 2 houses up, a squirrel doing squirrel math on the lip of the drainage ditch. I called the non-emergency police line and asked, "At what point is it a crime for an association to threaten a lien they have no authority to record?" The dispatcher was calm, practiced. "Sir, that sounds like a civil matter. If they trespass or harass you, we can send a unit." "We're not at that point yet," I said, "but we might be. Call if anyone shows up on your property or if you feel threatened," she said. I went to the county clerk's office website to see if they'd filed anything. Nothing. I emailed my title insurer with a scan of the fake lien threat. Their counsel wrote back 2 hours later, CCing the underwriter. It was short and useful. "We have reviewed your chain of title. There are no restrictive covenants recorded that encumber your parcel. Any lien recorded without legal authority would be facially invalid. Please notify us immediately if anything appears in the public record." I printed it and put it in the blue folder. Paper is heavy in the best way. 3 nights later, just as I'd fallen asleep hard enough to dream in vivid fragments about losing my shoes under a couch at a bus depot, Banging erupted at my front door. Not knocking, banging, the kind of sound that shakes a door in its frame. Raisin jerked upright and skid her paws on the hardwood. I fumbled for my phone, squinted at the display. 4:40 a.m. The banging came again, 3 impacts in a row, then a voice. "Open up in there, community inspection." Every hair on my arm stood up. I swiped my phone to record and whispered, "Hey Siri, note 4:40 a.m." because I wanted that timestamp stuck to this memory like a label. "Open the door," the voice yelled. A second voice chimed in, a woman. "We have the right to enter." I pulled on sweatpants and stepped into the hallway, keeping the interior lights off so I could see through the peephole without becoming a silhouette. On my stoop stood Lessa, teal polo, and Oren in his knit cap, crowding the door, a flashlight beam jittering over the frame like it was searching for fingerprints. Lessa's face was tight with anger. Her phone was out, camera lens aimed at my peephole as if she could peer back at me if she zoomed hard enough. "Go away," I said loudly through the door, steadying my voice. "It is 4:40 in the morning. You are trespassing. Leave my property immediately." "We have an emergency," Lessa said, like that sentence turned a key. "We received a report of a gas leak at this address. We're here to inspect." That jolted my chest, a quick squeeze. "Call the gas company," I said, "and get off my porch." I sniffed. No rotten egg smell. Raisin sniffed too, this great ridiculous snout waggling like an instrument. She smelled nothing but her own confusion. "We are authorized to enter in emergencies," Teal Polo declared, lifting the binder like proof. "Community standards, section..." "Leave," I said, "or I'll call the police." "We already did," Oren said, almost cheerful. "You failed to respond. We told them we were concerned for your safety." I laughed once, which wasn't smart because it sounded a little wild, but I couldn't help it. "You called 911 at 4:40 in the morning because I didn't pay your club?" "We called because of a gas smell," Lessa said, as if the words themselves could conjure an odor. I wasn't going to open the door with 3 people crowding my threshold in the dark. It's not just dangerous. In this state, the law is crystal clear that your doorstep is part of your home. Also, I've seen enough porch videos to know nothing good happens when the loudest person is waving papers in the pre-dawn. Red and blue lights washed the street 30 seconds later. 2 cruisers rolled in with their light bars muted to that pulsing low glow that makes a street feel like a dream. I exhaled with a mix of relief and dread. Police can help. Police can also decide the weirdest person is the safest bet. I put both hands on the doorframe so I'd remember to keep them in view. "Sir?" A voice, deep and tired. "It's the police. Can you come to the door?" "I'm here," I said. "I am not opening the door. I will speak through it." My phone was still recording. "That's fine," the officer said. "What's going on tonight?" 3 people who claimed to be part of a voluntary association came to my door at 4:40 a.m. and demanded entry. They claim there's a gas leak. I don't smell gas. I called the non-emergency line earlier this week due to escalating harassment. I have no covenant with this association. I'm requesting they be removed from my property. There was a pause, a shuffle, the sound of a radio on someone's shoulder cackling static. A second officer spoke, higher voice. "Ma'am, step off the porch, please." A rustle, grumbling. "Do you smell gas?" the first officer asked. "No," I said. "I also have my dog in here." "Understood. Do you have any weapons in the home?" "Yes," I said. "I own legally. They are not near me." I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. I wasn't going to mention the make or model. I wasn't going to reach for anything. "Okay," he said, neutral. "We're just making sure everyone's safe. We're going to ask these folks to wait on the sidewalk. If you don't feel safe opening the door, you don't have to. Do you want us to check around the house for any smell?" "Yes," I said. "A walk around is fine." I watched through the peephole while the officers moved the trio back to the sidewalk. Lessa tried to argue, saying something about community authority and emergency powers. The first officer held up a hand. "This is a single-family residence," he said, his voice edged with fatigue. "You don't have the right to enter someone's house. Step back." They stepped back. A minute later, the officer returned. "We don't smell gas," he called. "No indicators. If you smell anything later, call the gas company." "I will," I said. "Thank you." "You want us to tell them to leave?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Please inform them they're trespassing and that any further visits at this hour will be treated as harassment. I have requested from them any legal authority they claim. They have provided none." "Understood." I listened as he walked back and spoke in that calm cop voice they must teach at the academy, the one that is both placating and firm. "It's 4:40 in the morning," he said. You can't bang on people's doors and say you're going to inspect their homes. If you have a civil dispute, file it during business hours. If you call 911 again for a non-emergency, you can be charged with misuse of the system." Teal Polo sputtered. "We didn't know if he was alive in there. We were worried." "He didn't buy it." "No, you weren't." There's a quiet in the minutes after flashing lights retreat that's different from regular quiet. It feels like the house exhales. Raisin finally lay down with that old dog groan. My phone had recorded 22 minutes. I watched it back once, the scene flickering like proof of a thing that people might not believe if they weren't there. I emailed it to myself, then to the title insurer, then to a new folder in my cloud drive labeled HOA harassment. Then I plugged in my phone and stared out the window at the street until it turned from navy to gray. At 9 the next morning, I called a real attorney. Not a friend who's a lawyer. A real property attorney whose website had articles about covenants and statutory procedures, and also had a phone number that went to a human. Her name was Mira. She listened while I described the events. She didn't say things like wow or ridiculous. She said, "All right, first, good job not opening the door. Second, document everything. Third, you're going to send a demand letter and, if necessary, file for declaratory judgment and an injunction. Fourth, you're going to make a police report about the 4:40 a.m. incident. I'll draft the letter today." "You think this is worth filing over?" I asked. "I think when someone threatens a lien, bangs on your door before dawn, and claims emergency authority they don't have, the court will want to hear about it," she said. "Also, if they try to record a lien, we'll move for slander of title and ask for damages. And if they keep contacting you, we can get a restraining order against specific individuals." Her voice was calm, like she explained recipes. "Do you have neighbors who will support you?" "I think so," I said. "They're scaring a retired librarian over a free library box." She hummed. "We can include affidavits from neighbors to show a pattern. Also, many states have statutes that prohibit homeowners associations from restricting little free libraries and flags. Even if they were valid, and I'm not conceding that, they're doing things they're not allowed to do." After we hung up, I went for a long walk with Raisin. We swung by Alma's little library. The door was latched with a tiny hook and eye. Inside, someone had left a copy of a mystery paperback with a cracked spine and a note that said, "Don't let them take this, please." I rang her doorbell. She came out with a sweater draped over her shoulders like armor. "I got your voicemail," she said, smiling tremulously. "I didn't want to wake you up when the police came this morning." "You heard?" "On my ring," she said. "Also, the flashing lights bounce off my living room ceiling like a disco, which is not my preferred genre at my age." "I'm filing something," I said. "Would you be willing to sign a statement about the letters you've received?" She looked over my shoulder toward the cul-de-sac where a silver SUV idled. "Will it make them madder?" "They already seem plenty mad," I said. She straightened an inch. "Then yes." Diego said yes too with a shrug and "they can't tell me where to park my own truck." Cam said they'd write a statement, but asked if they could use initials on the public copy to avoid internet drama where they worked. A family at the corner who had gotten a violation for having a bench swing in their front yard said yes with both hands. By late afternoon, Mira had sent a draft letter for my review. It made me breathe easier just seeing the headings, even though she kept it to 2 pages. A very short letter can carry the most weight. "Our client took title to the property free of any recorded declaration. Your client is not and has never been a member of your association. Your threats to impose fines, dues, and a lien are legally baseless. Your representatives trespassed and harassed our client at 4:40 a.m. on date, claiming an emergency inspection and demanding entry to his home. Enclosed are a video and police report number. Cease all contact with our client immediately. If you believe you have legal authority over his property, provide the instrument number of your recorded declaration encumbering his parcel by 5 p.m. Friday. If you do not, confirm in writing that you will not contact our client again, will not enter his property, and will not attempt to record any encumbrance. Otherwise, we will seek a declaratory judgment, an injunction, damages for slander of title and trespass, and attorney's fees." There was a paragraph citing the state statute, the Recording Act, and the Consumer Protection Law against unfair or deceptive practices. It was the written equivalent of my blue folder, grown up and wearing a suit. We sent it certified mail and via email to the board address listed on their brochure. The email didn't bounce. Someone had fixed the mailbox. The next morning, a different email appeared in my inbox from someone who signed as community counsel. It was written in that way that tries to sound like velvet but is really sandpaper. They said they'd received our letter. They said they respectfully disagreed with my characterization of the association's authority. They said that while the declaration had not yet been recorded, it was being updated, and the membership had voted to include additional lots, and that by accepting deed to property in this community, I had accepted the benefits of association membership. They did not include an instrument number. Mira wrote back in less than 10 minutes. Please provide the instrument number of the recorded declaration encumbering our client's lot or withdraw your claims. Absent a recorded declaration, your client is a voluntary organization. Our client declines to join. Any threats to place a lien absent legal authority will be treated as slander of title. Please also instruct your clients to refrain from trespassing at 4:40 a.m. to conduct inspections of our client's home. There is no legal authority for that behavior. A court will not be amused. That afternoon, the association posted a community update on the neighborhood Facebook group, which I had not joined. Screen caps available via cam. It lamented that a new resident was refusing to comply with community standards. It urged people to be vigilant and to watch out for non-compliant behavior. Someone posted a photo of my front yard and circled a corner of my trash bin in red like it was a celebrity caught leaving a yoga studio. Someone else commented, "He's probably a lawyer. They think rules don't apply." And then someone else replied, "He's got a big dog. He should have to go to the park like everyone else." The way these things spiral is the same in every place. A tiny group of people decides they're righteous, and they try to recruit cheerleaders. 2 days later came the thing I'd been waiting for and dreading. An envelope from the county recorder, addressed to me with a copy of a notice of lien recorded against my parcel. It had been filed by Our Community Pride, signed by Oren as architectural chair, stating that I owed $515 for dues and a trash bin fine, and that per the governing documents, they were placing a lien on my property. My stomach thudded as I turned the page. The document had an instrument number and a recorded date, yesterday. I called Mira. She picked up on the second ring. "They filed a lien," I said. "It's in the records." She swore softly, then calmly, "All right, we move." She filed a complaint the next morning, asking the court to declare the lien void, enjoin the association from further action, award damages for slander of title, and sanction them for abuse of the recording system. She also filed a motion for a temporary restraining order, attaching my video of the 4:40 a.m. incident, a copy of the lien, the certified mail green card, and affidavits from Alma, Diego, and Cam, describing the pattern of behavior, fines for tiny things, threats, and the pre-dawn door banging. The motion also attached the state statute requiring recorded covenants for enforcement, and a case from the state appellate court that said, "You cannot bootstrap authority with a vote after the fact." We got a hearing scheduled in front of a judge who, according to Mira, had a reputation for being allergic to nonsense. The hearing was set for the following Wednesday. In the meantime, the court issued a temporary order prohibiting the association from contacting me, stepping on my property, or attempting any additional enforcement action against my lot until the hearing. A process server delivered it to Lessa at her daylight job. Cam said she looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. I don't take joy in that description, not really, but I did sleep deeper that night. The morning after the order, I woke up to find my mailbox had been knocked into an angle that made it look like it was trying to whisper secrets to the grass. A friend texted me a screenshot of a post on the community page. "Be alert, everyone. Thieves are testing mailboxes. Call 911 if you see anything suspicious." The post was from Oren. I reported the mailbox damage to the police, got a case number, and installed a small steel post inside the wooden sleeve to make it less conversational. I spent the days before the hearing doing quiet tasks that look like procrastination if you've never been through a conflict. I checked my smoke detectors and my carbon monoxide detector. I labeled boxes in the garage that I already knew the contents of. I mowed my lawn in straight lines, careful and slow. I helped Alma sand and repaint her little free library in cheerful aqua, and we added a tiny brass plaque that said, "Take a book, leave a book," because joy belongs in small things. I baked banana bread with pecans and brought half to Cam, who had held my package when a courier left it at their door by mistake and who had to work a double shift. I waved to the kid on the BMX bike and gave him the tennis ball my dog had nosed out from under a rhododendron. I reminded myself that most neighbors are not aboard. Most people want peace. The night before the hearing at 10:18 p.m., my phone buzzed with a voicemail from a number I didn't recognize. It was Lessa, her voice low and sharp. "You could have just paid the dues," she said. "You didn't have to make this ugly. You're going to lose. We always win. Good luck sleeping." I sent the voicemail to Mira. She emailed back, "Thank you, this helps." At 6:12 a.m., I woke to a metallic tap on my bedroom window. For a split second, my brain couldn't place it. Raisin lifted her head, ears like paper fans. I peered through the slats of the blind and could just make out the silhouette of a person on the side yard, next to the fence, slipping away. I'd installed a motion-activated light and a small camera above that window. The light snapped on, and the camera recorded 30 seconds of a man in a knit cap crouching near my gas meter. He didn't do anything. He just crouched and then glanced up at the camera, eyes caught like a fox in a trail cam, and then slid away into the dark. At 6:30, I called the non-emergency line. "This is Escalating," I said. "I have a video of a person near my gas meter. Send it to the evidence portal," the dispatcher said and gave me a link. "We'll add it to your case." When the hearing started, the judge took the bench with a stack of files that looked heavy enough to tone anyone's biceps. Our case was called third. We sat at a small table in a room that smelled like coffee and dry paper. Everyone stood when the judge entered. I glanced at the gallery. Alma had come, wearing her favorite reading scarf even though she wasn't reading. Diego sat behind me and put a hand on my shoulder for exactly 2 seconds, like athletes who know where their hands should go when the cameras pan. The association had counsel, the same community counsel who'd emailed us. Lessa sat next to him, chin up-tilted like she was smelling something rotten. Oren wore his knit cap even though the courtroom had a sign that said no hats. Teal polo was absent. Mira argued first, calm. She told the story plain, held up the recorded lien like a trinket, cited the statute requiring recorded covenants and forbidding unrecorded liens, then handed the judge my deed and a parcel printout showing no covenants. She played 30 seconds of the 4:40 a.m. video, the banging, the community inspection, and laid out slander of title, false publication, malice or reckless disregard, and damages. "We have all three," she said. No authority, yet they recorded anyway after threats and a pre-dawn door pound. Damages are presumed because a cloud on title hurts marketability. Void the lien, enjoin contact, and set this for damages. Community counsel rose. "A misunderstanding, Your Honor. Years of voluntary compliance. Updated covenants coming. Good faith. The lien secured assessments for common areas. He's avoiding his fair share." The judge raised a hand. "Is there a recorded declaration on this property?" "Not yet," counsel said. "Then you lack authority to lien," the judge said. "Our recording act is not optional." Counsel tried again. "We acted in anticipation." "In anticipation of violating the law?" the judge said. Counsel flushed. "A volunteer filed it. We can release it." Mira. "They haven't. My client's title is clouded and they claimed emergency entry at 4:40 a.m. The judge frowned. "Who thought they could enter his home?" Lessa. "We got a gas smell report." "From who?" "Anonymous." "You call 911. You don't bang and declare an inspection," the judge said. Temporary injunction granted. No contact, no stepping on his property, no enforcement absent a recorded declaration, which appears never to have existed. Lien void. Clerk will record my order with the instrument number. Hearing on damages set. Produce 60 days of communications. "We can release it today," counsel said. "You should have yesterday. Pay fees." The sheriff recorded the order with the same instrument number. The association filed a release. My title insurer thanked me for protecting my chain of title. Online, the board called me a slick lawyer deadbeat. Neighbors pushed back. 2 days later, an officer said they'd arrested Oren for misuse of 911 over fake gas leaks. My gas meter video matched. The association said he'd stepped away. Mira moved for sanctions, retraction letters, consumer protection penalties, depositions, board communications. A deputy served a protection order barring Lessa from contacting me. The day before the hearing, a taped note demanded a $1,000 donation to drop everything. We brought it. The judge looked tired of the trick. Sanctions, fees, $7,500 penalty, posted retraction, individual apology, contempt if they try again, jail warned for violating the order. We stepped into ordinary sunlight. I bought a house not under an association and kept it that way, with law, neighbors, and a judge truly allergic to nonsense. Friends, thank you. See you soon.